What is going on, everybody? My name is Jonan Morales. I'm the host and co-producer here at Cageside Media. I'm a journalist and early executive experience, bringing to you guys my daily passion of combat sports.
And I am Tiffany Leys. I'm the photographer, visuals, and co-producer of Cageside Media.
And together we are
Cageside Chats.
All right, guys, so basically this was our joint venture, right? I think we've kind of for a while been thinking like, oh, how do we just get into long form video? And you kind of were telling me like, babe, we should do a podcast. And I was like, yes.
Well, I thought, what better way to show off your commentary skills?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I've always been my dream to do commentary, and it almost happily actually happened at Dirty Boxing 4. Most likely will happen at Dirty Boxing 5. We'll see. But before we get into all the things that we're doing and going to do, let's talk a little bit about who we are. So, guys, obviously, I'm 29 years old, born and raised here in the beautiful Miami. I've worked in news and media for 10 years. I currently work at Paramount Media. I'm now into year 10 of my news career here, and my passion is mixed martial arts, right? Like, I've kind of done local, I've done national, I've made some appearances on CBS Sports. I got him a chance to interview so many good fighters like Michael Chandler, Yair Rodriguez, Mike Perry, and our friend Bryan Battle. If you guys haven't seen that, you guys can check that out on our page on Instagram, Cageside Media. They're all there. We're not capping, they're real. But yeah, I mean, every single day I kind of do videos on my personal JXNAN Morales TikTok. Obviously, we now have Cageside Media, so posting it, kind of cross-promoting it on all of our socials. But yeah, I mean, every week I kind of do my thing, and I run them by you, and you're kind of like, we should do a media page because we're both such big fight fans, and I help you out anyways, and I love this too. So yeah, tell them a little bit about who you are, Ben.
Well, 26 years old,
26.
born and raised in Miami, Florida. I have a Caribbean background.
Boom, boom.
I recently got into photography a couple of years ago. My dad is a photographer, hobbyist. My grandfather was as well. And I just was always around cameras, and someone taking a photo, was always interested in it, but never really took up a camera until recently. And I love content creation. I've always wanted to be like a YouTuber when I started watching YouTube. Like, I thought it was super cool. I could watch those for hours. But I've always wanted to do some form of content creation, and we kind of started doing that with the local brand here in Miami, Florida. And, have moved on from that to now Cageside full time. I am still a full-time teacher.
For now.
High school and middle school.
For now.
So it's interesting days, but I really do love content creation, and I want to eventually make it my full-time job.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's, we're both kind of grinding every single day on Cageside, and it's interesting, right? I remember one day telling you, I was like, babe, for those of you guys who don't know, by the way, our saga has lasted 10 years together. We have 5 animals in a house, a beautiful house. So just, I'm saying babe, and I think people are gonna be like, what? Who are W Joanna, though, she was just like, I didn't know you guys were dating. And I was like, yeah, dude, we're actually dating for a long time. So yeah, no, I mean, I remember about 2 years ago, the people over at my old station at CBS News in Miami, they were like, hey, we have this sports show, and you're an MMA dude for UFC 299. Can you jump on? And I told my girlfriend, babe, I'm so happy. So, oh my gosh, babe, do it. I'm so proud of you. And I've had 4 other podcasts in the past. So I was like, great, let's do it. So then I did the CBS Sports thing. And then they asked me to do it again. And then I did UFC 299 in person. And then I did the last UFC event, I believe it was one of the 300s in Miami. And yeah, I mean, after that, we started shooting. Dirty Boxing had contacted me. We shot Dirty Boxing 2 in Miami. For those of you guys who don't know what Dirty Boxing is a promotion started by Mike Jones.
Wow.
Started by John Jones and Mike Perry. Basically, it is 4-ounce gloves, a small ring, 3-minute round, 3 3-minute rounds, I believe 3 5-minute rounds for championship fights. And they basically are allowed, you can use elbows and ground and pound. You are allowed to hit your opponent if they are down and intelligently defending themselves. Now, if they are not intelligently defending themselves, the referee will deem the fight to be over, and that's it. Now, bringing it back, Dirty Boxing 2 happens, and we shoot it on my phone, and obviously you're like, babe, you should do this, you do that, and we're like, oh yeah, and you're like, Dirty Boxing 3, I'll bring my camera. So they invite us to Dirty Boxing 3. We get media credentials, and you're sending photos. I'm doing videos, and Dirty Boxing messages us, and they use your photos.
Yeah, it was definitely a little intimidating for that
Yeah.
because I'm surrounded by like actual professional photographers that have super expensive lenses, and I was there with my what is it called? With my stock lens
At the time.
and I was shooting from like super far away. Thank God I brought a backup because I almost didn't. And I was, I think, the only photographer that actually sent them free photos. So I was like, hey, really enjoyed, thank you so much, here are the photos that I was able to get, because I wasn't really using it for anything other than my personal. They ended up collab posting all of my photos.
And then that's how we kind of started this partnership with the fighters, because you ended up sending the photos, and then at the time I had interviewed Mike Perry remotely, and then I interviewed him in person, and then there's where we started our friendship with our friend of the pod, Bryan Battle, which we'll get into later. But and then that was after I had interviewed Michael and Yair. So it was kind of like our work, like it started to kind of start making sense. And then, I was like following the fighters, and then you were following the fighters, and then you're like, we should just like start a media company page.
Yeah, because I feel like we were already doing this together.
Yeah.
So I was like, why don't we just offer our services together? Like, and if they do need just one, we can always just need one. Because I figured you can easily do interviews and commentaries, but somebody always needs a photographer. And if you're doing the media, like the interviews and the commentaries, they don't even have to pay me. I'll just go. They could just get you, and then I'll just happen to be there.
And like videography has always been like videos and more like personality journalism, deep dive stuff. That's kind of been more my thing, and yours has always been the visuals, and together it's like literally the perfect combination. But I remember doing Dirty Boxing 3, and then they invited us to Dirty Boxing 4, which we just shot last week in Nashville. Amazing event.
Very
we
fun.
are dropping all of our photos little by little, guys, so bear with us, because we are doing a slow spread, along with our daily
everything.
along with our daily videos and things like that. But they had asked me to do a commentary, which was insane. That was kind of crazy. Got the call, and they were like, Joanna's like, hey, Joanna is one of the main publicists with Dirty Boxing, and we have kind of like a partnership. But she calls us, and she's like, hey, so what do you think about doing commentary? So while we get there, we set everything up, we were not able to do commentary because of a technical issue. Dirty Boxing 5, I will most likely be doing commentary. You were ringside. It was absolutely insane. And it's just, can you kind of walk me through a little bit, like from your perspective, right? Like I was doing videography, and they use a lot of our photos and videos and things like that, but being ringside, I think that was the first time I've ever gotten that deep and that intimate. We're sitting next to John Anik's brother, which was insane. Jason Anik. But it was the first time I ever felt a little bit of empathy for the fighters that lost. Like how did you feel, kind of, because you shot them all walking out, and the winners and losers, I don't mean to say it like that, but how did it make you feel? Because it made me feel empathy. I was sad almost.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was mainly just really excited that I was getting to shoot so close to the ring, because all the other media personnel was kind of like to the side.
We had all access, which is wonderful.
The location of the media, I was trying to stay within that area at the beginning, just because I was like not comfortable, not used to being able to go move around. Definitely wasn't a great position for them to be in, because their cameras were blocking that section, so you couldn't really get a lot there. So I was able to go around, and I was just really excited to get the shots that I wanted, and I was able to kind of play around and try different things in order to get different types of shots.
Really great shots.
I was able to get pictures of John Jones and Mike Perry, even the refs, which was great.
Big Dan Margliata, which was insane.
But I wasn't really too focused on like, oh, I feel bad for this person, because I took pictures of them coming out. I was more like, he won. I get to take pictures of the win.
It's definitely a rush, right? Like, when you're ringside and you're doing all access, like I was making sure I was getting like in the grid, like the right moments, and I actually got a crazy knockout on video, like literally just like the uppercut and this guy falling.
It was like fent leaning
for
a second.
Crazy. It was actually crazy. And then Dirty Boxing ended up using that, but it's crazy, right? I think that was the first time I'd worked like a combat sports event. And I've worked a bunch, but you don't see a lot of the time the after, right? Like you see so much like, and our winner Bryan Battle, and our winner Gable Steveson, and then
Yeah.
you don't ever see, I got to see in real time, the winner get his hand raised, and then you see the person who didn't win kind of go to his corner, and it's an interesting feeling for sure.
I did like to see some of the ones that didn't win go to the corner and like kind of discuss for a few seconds with their corner, like what the hell just happened.
Yeah.
Heard a couple of them being like, fuck, bro, I can't believe I lost.
I can't believe I lost. Yeah.
Really disappointed in themselves. And I've heard some of them being like, it is what it is, like they took their loss and they left, which is the right way to do it, in my opinion.
Sure. I mean, it was definitely an insane moment being able to go into Nashville, going out of town to cover an event too is awesome.
Yeah, it was definitely fun, and I hope to keep doing that with them because it was so fun.
Yeah, and it's like going to your it's like people don't understand like the rush, right? Like we're at the media day. I'm shooting video for Cageside's socials and for the other socials, and then you're shooting the photos, and people don't realize like you obviously can do both at the same time, but you need two different bodies.
Yeah, so it's definitely like you got to start and stop the camera. Yeah. You have to like like for photography, you can't do both at the same time unless you have a tripod just recording and you're recording the whole time, right? But then you want a nice shot of everything, and you want to make sure that everything is good on that camera, but you're also taking photos. It's really not easy to do it as just one person. No. It's physically possible, but like it's so much easier with two people. Yeah. But still, a lot of work.
I've been a one-man army for these UFC events, and it's like a nightmare. So having you is such a blessing, and I cannot wait to keep doing these dirty boxing events. Yeah. But with that, let's talk a little bit about our friend Bryan Battle. So I've told you so much about being with these fighters. Like I remember interviewing Yair, interviewing Michael Chandler, and these bigger names. Like going with Mike Perry, and I remember we interviewed Mike a second time, and you would come with me to that media day. Yeah. So Hector Lombard sees us in the in the lobby, and he's like, "Hey, you guys doing like a movie or something?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, something like that." It was super funny. Yeah. And I love Hector. Hector Lombard, friend of the show.
Funny enough, because he's Cuban, I didn't even put two and two together that he was one of the fighters. Yeah, I thought he was just someone from Miami.
Yeah. I mean, I could kind of see, like, I train mixed martial arts myself in the beautiful South Florida. And like you kind of get the vibe of when someone also kind of is in the realm, but I was like, I don't know, I don't want to assume. So we go up obviously to the elevator, and we go to the media room. You're setting up your camera, I'm setting up my stuff, and in walks Mike Perry. He's like, "Oh, I remember you. We do our thing. Yeah, it's great." He's like, "Oh, good to see you again. Oh, thank you so much, man." And then prior to that, Bryan Battle walks into the room. Yeah. He walks in with his best friend Ryder, who was also in The Ultimate Fighter, Bryan W. Ryder, and immediately we just hit it off. I mean, I think it's super funny. Like, you're in the room with so many of these fighters, and Bryan is like the first guy that I feel like we genuinely had like a friendship with, right? Like, I've been there with Yair for like an hour, but it's like you guys don't see like behind all this. There's like lights and there's a camera, but when you're doing these like UFC events with bigger fighters, there's like 8 other heads in the room. Like they're literally filming embedded, and they're like doing all this stuff, and you just like can't feel comfortable with yourself. You can't feel comfortable with the person, right? Like I wanted to talk to him more, but like unfortunately I couldn't, just because like, dude, like they're on a time crunch, right? They're getting it out. But it's so funny, like Bryan obviously unfortunately got cut from the UFC. Right. The weekend prior was supposed to fight but missed weight. So I remember we were driving, and I remember we were gonna go do errands. Just when I was cutting my mullet, y'all know the vibes. And I told you, I was like, "Oh my gosh, babe, like Bryan Battle was supposed to fight today, and he got cut." And you're like, "Who is Bryan Battle?" So you're like, "Who is this Bryan Battle person? Like who is this guy you keep referring to?" And I was like, "Babe, it was this guy. He fought in Paris. It was crazy." And then you see the highlights, and you're like, "All right, cool." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like what if Dirty Boxing pulled something off and was able to sign him?" And you're like, "Yeah, bro, it's like in literally like a week." So lo and behold, I literally like park at the house, right? We just gotten food, we're ready to go, and literally it just says like Bryan Battle signs to Dirty Boxing. So I was like, "What?" So I text Joanna, which is like the publicist, one of our friends of the show, and I'm like, "Joanna, you got Bryan? What?" And she's just like, "Yeah, I don't know. A lot's happening. This is insane. We'll talk later. Love you, bye." I was like, "What?" And then so fast forward like 4 days later, walks Bryan Battle, and you know what I mean? And instantly we hit it off, right? Like he's one of those guys that like immediately there was like a genuine connection. Like I'm 29 years old. He's like 31, so we're relatively close in age. But yeah, I mean, instantly it just felt like I was talking to my friend. Like, and you see it in real time.
Well, yeah, I just noticed that like there was a very clear difference between like you interviewing Mike Perry, even Hector Lombard, and then versus Bryan.
Yeah.
Right? Like Mike Perry is there to try to get more sponsorships and he's in front of his sponsors already. So he wants to look good and he wants to look professional and businessman. So he was very more like, hi, my name is Mike Perry. This is my promotion, blah, blah, blah. Although he did break a little bit when he brought up his
Platinum vodka.
Yeah.
Guys, go drink it responsibly if you want. Mike Perry. Drink that platinum Mike Perry vodka. But mix it, because vodka hurts.
I think he did appreciate.
I love that, man.
Yeah. So,
Mike
but
Perry.
again, he was very like businessman.
Yeah,
right there.
for sure. Which is
Hector,
smart.
Language barrier, but same thing.
Right.
Right. But you also didn't get to interview Hector because he had to go. But then once you started interviewing Bryan, I feel like it was more chill.
Yeah,
like it felt like kind of like a just bro and bro.
Yeah,
talking.
it was like two dudes. Like immediately he was like, and I was like,
you guys were like laughing and
then,
like talking about tattoos.
Yeah,
like,
and then afterwards, which he still owes me that tattoo session. Him and I are gonna get yatted together once he wins his next fight. But yeah, I mean, we end up going to we're like gonna leave. Like they're like we talked so long. Do you remember that they're like, hey, we like the people were like, we gotta go.
Yeah, we talked for like an hour after
and they're like, we
in
gotta
the
go.
room, and they're like, Bryan, you gotta go.
Yeah,
go
and
cut weight.
Like, so then it's just him and I and Ryder and obviously you, babe, were like just in the elevator. And I was like, we're like all like we're like friends right now. This is crazy.
We were the shortest people.
We were the shortest people for sure. Yeah. But yeah, no, Bryan ends up hanging out with us, and then he wins. Obviously, he sees us the next day. He's like, "Guys, I missed you." Like after he gets his like 30-second knockout, he's like, "Guys, I missed you." We're like, "What's up, bro?" And obviously, we had to go at the time, but yeah. And then from there, we kind of established like a friendship with Bryan, and it's funny, right? Like you see people stock drop so much, right? Like you get cut from the UFC, and they just fall off the face of the earth. But I think Bryan Battle was one of those guys that he really rebuilt himself after his UFC cut. And it seems like he's more popular now than he was when he was in the UFC, right? Like it seems like he's become this reachable UFC fighter that almost feels like your older brother that knows how to knock people out, right?
Yeah.
He's pretty much the most accessible fighter now, and it seems like his star is only shining brighter. I mean, what do you think?
I think that he needs to get back into the UFC.
100%.
And I think the UFC needs to give him another opportunity. He didn't lose any fights.
No.
He just missed weight.
Yeah.
And I think he's proving that he's going to make weight from now on and that he's not going to fuck this up again. And, W. Bryan, because I think he took it as like I need to get my shit together and take this seriously. This is not a game.
Right.
And I think he's proven that he's able to do it. I think they're probably waiting for a few more fights just to see. Maybe a couple fights in the PFL and then sign him back.
But if you have a message to Dirty Boxing, I mean, I want to see a belt behind Bryan.
Oh, 100%.
If you have a message to Dirty Boxing, what would it be?
Here's my message.
Listen to the pretty lady, guys.
Dirty Boxing 5.
Dirty Boxing 5.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
Bryan Battle headliner.
We're gonna have that one
for a belt.
So you want the inaugural 185 pound Dirty Boxing belts championship to be on the line with this fight?
Yes.
Is this breaking news?
I think he's proven himself to, one, bring people to the promotion. Absolutely. Because all of his fans are watching him at all times. Yeah. No matter what he's doing, they're tuning in. Yeah, definitely. And I think he's brought a lot of people to Dirty Boxing. I think he's proven that he can win in this promotion. He hasn't made it to a second round in the promotion because he keeps knocking people out. I think he's proven himself to earn a belt, and I think that like Mike Perry, come on.
Yeah, Mike, you heard it from the pretty lady. You heard it from the pretty. It wasn't from me. Listen, I know you're tired of hearing from me. Just kidding, no, not love you.
And I never talk, so
she doesn't.
I'm talking now.
She's always the one taking photos. So she's more vocal now than she's been shooting every event. I'm kidding. Well, we weren't podcasting until now, but I mean, on your personal, you're always yapping about books. If you guys like books, go follow her personal.
Well, it's not just about books anymore.
It's not. It's vlogs. If you guys like vlogs too, if you guys like everything,
we
if you
did
guys
a Dirty
just like
Boxing
her,
vlog.
just follow her, but respectfully, or I'm gonna call Bryan on you.
Well.
No, so listen. So, yeah, I mean, I think Bryan is one of these guys that has really reinvented himself. And there's just a lot left for him, right? I think he is starting to fill into his middleweight frame, right? I think I like Bryan as a middleweight. I think when he comes back to the UFC, he's going to be a even better fighter, right? Like, as a mixed martial artist myself, like, my biggest issue is that I don't sit on my punches, right? But now Bryan is only boxing. His hands, his ability to slip and react to punches is going to be better. So I think the Bryan that we see in mixed martial arts is going to be a much more dangerous Bryan Battle.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I think that he is going to, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities for Bryan Battle right now. And I think seeing him go into the PFL with that dirty boxing belt, like that brown belt, which I like, it has grown on me. I am not going to lie. I do like it. And then seeing him go to the PFL, win that circuit. I mean, go fight Fabian Edwards, man. Get that belt and go back to the UFC, man. You've got a lot of fights waiting for you, bro. You've got Sean Strickland, Fluffy Hernandez, Imanov, Hamzat Chimaev.
No, Kamzat.
Yeah, sorry. You know,
Kamzat's my favorite fighter.
Yeah,
I don't want to see our friend fight my favorite fighter because he's my favorite for a reason.
Yes. But I will say there is a lot left for Bryan Battle. And W, Bryan, I love you, man. I cannot wait to see you again. And we'll see each other very soon. We got a lot of stuff planned with our friend Bryan in the background too. So
hopefully soon.
Yeah, hopefully very soon. But I guess having a friend in Bryan is interesting, right? Like, seeing your friend fight, I think, is an interesting thing, right? Like, first Dirty Boxing, you know, he's someone who we were texting and kind of just talking a lot. And, you know, it's cool. Like, you know, I'm going for you. But Dirty Boxing 4, like, you know, we kept the friendship going, all of us.
Right.
And, like, yeah, like, you know, we're doing the media stuff and, like, we are biased, though, guys. Like, that's our friend.
Right.
You know, and you guys can see that on our pages, we cross collaborate a lot, but seeing my friend fight was weird. It was a little
It definitely was more at stake.
I was shaking.
Well, he did get stumbled for like a second.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. I mean, I think there was a moment in that fight where Bryan was hurt pretty bad.
I wouldn't say pretty bad.
He wasn't hurt, but he was hurt.
He got rocked for like a second.
He was hurt.
And Len was like, oh, nah, I gotta lock in.
Yeah, he had to lock in.
And then locked in.
I mean, there was a moment in that fight where I was scared for a second.
Well, he like stumbled for like a second.
I was like, no!
And I was like, no. And then you hear me in the background, lock in. What the fuck?
It's on video. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And then he locked in. And then he knocked him out like 20 seconds later.
I think him doing a tie clinch, because I thought that was the smartest thing. So a lot of the bare knuckle brawlers, they tend to go wider, right? Because they don't have the gloves. They just kind of have their bare hands to kind of protect their face and their extremities. And I think, you know, obviously going for those loopier punches, you can break past someone's guard. And, you know, with some gloves, you know, Bryan was able to evade a lot of that damage. And using that tie clinch to disrupt him and waiting for that and then kind of going in, it was great. I think I lost my voice for a second. You know, I have to remember next time that I am on the commentary booth, which probably Dirty Boxing 5. Hit me up, guys. We will probably be there. I have to remember, if it is Bryan, that I got to lock in and not be like screaming. Because I started screaming. I'm not going to lie to you guys.
I think everybody was kind of.
It was crazy. It was crazy. But seeing the moment that he won was like the best release. I was like, yes. So yeah, I love you, Bryan. There is so much left for you. Cannot wait to see that belt wrapped behind you. So with
there
that,
better be a belt.
What?
There better be a belt.
There better be a belt. Yeah. The PFL has signed a agreement to broadcast on Vice. One of the more random things that happened this week, but one of the better things. With my friends at Vice, you know, I think that this is a big deal. I think a lot of people are starting to get away from ESPN, away from the pay-per-view and the restrictiveness, because even for us who are content creators, anytime we've used any ESPN stuff, they like blackball you. Like, you're not allowed to do anything with it, and it makes it very restrictive. And
which is bad on their part because they're losing out on so much promotion. Yeah. I mean,
that's kind of why on my personal, I just use the green screen with the thing, because anytime I've used any motion, you have to appeal it on TikTok, and if it's using their content, it just doesn't work. So yeah, I mean, I think the PFL going into Vice is a big deal, because I think they're saying a statement like, okay, you want to restrict us? I got you. We're gonna go in a place where we have no restrictions. And I think W Vice, as they keep building their combat sports brand. I also know they've got bare knuckle, and we're hopefully, you know, going to try and make it out to their bare knuckle BKB 48 in Miami. So you know, we're in talks to kind of help them out there with their team, but I think it's interesting. I think if you don't want to watch mixed martial arts, you don't want to watch grappling, you can watch bare knuckle. And who knows? Maybe the next thing is maybe adding a dirty boxing, maybe. for the Vice branding, but I think it's a big W for Vice.
I do think that DBX definitely fits
For sure.
Vice's branding.
For sure. I think Dirty Boxing is the next step for them as Vice continues to rebrand and grow. You know, I think the Vice Sports is excellent, and I think they're doing a really good job at kind of branching out from just the initial conglomerate of like Vice Media. But there, I will say, with the PFL, there's going to be possible crossover, right?
Yeah.
Dirty Boxing crossover. And I will say, if there's one fighter that I want to see on Dirty Boxing, there's a few fighters, but I think if there's one PFL fighter specifically, it would have to be my friend Alexei Purgante. Now, that is a fighter who is a bona fide star in the PFL. And I found out about him because I was forced to learn about him. What do you mean by that? Because every time I was doing my personal videos on my TikTok, this guy's viral moment kept popping up. So typically, you know, someone goes for a single leg, right? And what you want to do is you want to get your equilibrium back, right? You want to maybe balance on whatever foot is not obviously restricted. You want to maybe try to reverse the position, use the cage or the mats or whatever area you're at that you can kind of get some backing, right? Or some footing. Well, instead of doing all that, right? The things that we fundamentally learn, Alexei's crazy ass decided to just do a backflip, and he did a backflip and he got out of the bad position and survived. Obviously won the fight, but he is someone who obviously after that I following him and watching him, reporting on him, and then we kind of just struck up a little bit of a friendship now. And yeah, he's a fighter that I think his style warrants that Dirty Boxing style. I think he is extremely, extremely athletic. He's a boxer first, but he's an athlete as well. So I think there is a lot of viral moments, especially he's like a social media dude too. So he's the kind of guy that I think his style would fit into the Dirty Boxing world, and he could probably be a star there too if he wants to. Who else do you think could be a star in Dirty Boxing? Who do you want to see? I know who you're going to say.
Who am I going to say?
My dog, Derek Lewis. My dog.
I think I just like Derek Lewis, and I constantly want to see him, but he only wants to fight taxi drivers.
He does.
So I just miss him. I love Derek Lewis.
I love me some Derek Lewis. But
I do think Drickus.
I think Drickus
would be really interesting. I think his style of fighting kind of fits it because he kind of just flings himself like a Looney Tunes character and just wins for some reason, except for my boy Kamzat because he couldn't take Kamzat.
I think Drickus could definitely, and it seems like DBX is pretty flexible. Like they will work with people's contracts. So I think Drickus.
Well, I don't know if they're going to be able to work with the UFC.
No,
the UFC is very
strict. No, but I will say one thing. Nate Diaz, where are you at, brother? You and Mike Perry. Yeah. I need that. I think Nate Diaz is such a violent person in his style, not as a person, but in his style of fighting. And I think Mike Perry, being Mike Perry, will fight anybody. And I think those two on a Dirty Boxing card, there won't be bad blood. They are cool, but I think that those two styles, you can sell out anywhere. You can sell out any any arena. You know, you can sell out anywhere, and I think that there will be blood, there will be laughs, and I think it'll be a good time. I think those two.
What's the guy's name that drinks out of his shoe?
Oh my goodness, Tai Tuivasa. Tai
Tuivasa. There you go. That's who I think.
I think he'd be.
I think he would be because he's not in the UFC anymore.
He is in the UFC. He's just 300 pounds right now.
I thought he was. I thought they let him go.
He's chilling. He's just taking a break.
Weren't they going to let him go?
Yeah, but I don't know. I think he's like still under contract. I'm like 90% sure.
He's just not fighting.
Yeah,
just vibes.
It's my boy.
Well, I think that if he does get out of his UFC contract, I think that he would be interesting because he's very much like I'm gonna hit you hard as I can and win.
Yeah, I think Tai. I think if you guys want to get crazy, maybe this gets back to him because we know a lot of his people. I think George Masvidal would be an excellent. Yeah. He would sleep a lot of people. A lot of people would go to sleep.
I think that's
I
think that's where he is at this point.
Well, I think he is a scary dude that you do not want to fight in a boxing setting.
Well, he does have like Mike Perry vibes, and I feel like the promotion is very much Mike Perry coded. Yeah. And I feel like he would transition well into Dirty Boxing.
I also think that George is just like a marauder with boxing. Like I remember watching him at World Star Hip Hop fights in the backyards with Kimbo Slice, and that is a dude who
Kimbo Slice is crazy.
His pressure is crazy. Like Bryan, I mean, like George is a kind of guy that I just would never want to box that guy. I mean, if you even watch the Kamaru Usman fight, he was getting the better of him in the exchanges. Like the first fight, he was blitzing Kamaru on like 5 days' notice. and
crazy.
survived all 25 minutes. Obviously, the second fight didn't go his way, but that's a real guy that will box you, and he can use elbows too, bro. You'll be cooked. Yeah, I think those are some potential fights for the dirty boxing world. Don't sign Tony Ferguson. We love you, Tony,
No,
but
God, please
I
no.
love you,
Not
Tony.
Tony.
We love you, Tony. We do. We just do your thing, baby. I love you.
Wait, I have a question.
What's that?
Do you think they'll ever get like Logan or Jake Paul?
No, no. I think Mike Perry is very much bent on keeping his promotion.
But didn't he say that he
serious.
wanted to fight?
I think if they do dirty boxing, I think that favors Mike Perry. But I think Mike Perry,
Not to.
I think he's
Maybe-
being really specific about who he brings in. I think he really does want to bring in a stable of like.
So who is
I
Mike
think
gonna
Jake is a
fight
good
then?
amateur boxer. I think Jake is a good boxer in himself. But I do think that Mike kind of wants to keep the more Muay Thai, MMA.
But my question is who would Mike fight in dirty boxing? Because
George Masvidal or Nate Diaz for sure. And those guys.
they'll
would-
probably do Nate Diaz because his boy just fought.
Yeah, maybe Nate Diaz. It could be Nate. Yeah, but I think the funniest thing that Mike Perry told me, it's on our interview, and I asked him like, "How do you prepare for like a bare knuckle fight?" And he's like, "Well, I hit people hard, and then I'm like, do you like get out of the way?" He's like, "No, I just guarantee that I'm gonna hit him harder." I'm like, "Dude, you're so crazy." I was like, "You're actually so crazy for that." Gable Steveson has made a statement.
Yes.
He knocked out Billy Swanson in 13 seconds. Can Gable Steveson be the next UFC star?
Absolutely. I think that he has the level of athleticism that a lot of people don't necessarily have because he was quite literally a gold medal Olympian. I think that puts him at an advantage that a lot of people don't have, especially a lot of people in like the PFL or even lower divisions. But I think he has a good enough skill set and what's the word that I'm looking for?
I think he's versatile. I think
He definitely is because he even said in his interview that he has always trained MMA. He's trained striking before. He just hasn't needed to use it in a sanctioned fight until recently.
I think
he proved himself that he's able to do it because you have somebody who specifically trains MMA. So he's striking, grappling, doing the whole nine versus somebody who is only showing off the wrestling skills, but also training on the side.
I think Gable has a really big opportunity to beat Rosenstruck, and I think if he does, he's got no choice but to join the UFC, right? I think you beat Rosenstruck, who's a guy who hung around the top 10 for so long, fought Jailton Almeida, fought Francis Ngannou, fought Volkov, fought everybody. I think there's going to be no choice but to bring him in, and I think that it's very important for Gable to win his next fight in a decisive way because then he goes to the UFC. I think you put him in the top 10 immediately, right? It seems like they've got no problem doing that with guys from other promotions. Like, you know what I mean? Like you've got Patchy Mix, who had a disastrous UFC career so far. You've got so many other Bellator stars that came. Michael Chandler got like a top 10 fight off rip. So obviously, these are different. These are guys who are champions in their respective promotion, but you've got guys like John Jones backing you. Gable Steveson is a real heavyweight. He's a real problem for anybody, too. I mean, he's an athlete, right? He's not just one of those heavyweights that'll box you or wrestle you. He will throw kicks. He's a problem. And I think if we build him the right way, if he beats not only beats, but knocks out Rosenstruck, which is the last time I saw him get slept was against Francis. I can't recall if anyone else kind of slept him in that way, but yeah, I think if Gable can get through Rosenstruck and get that belt around him, there's got to be no choice to put him in the UFC.
I think he's definitely going to give Rosenstruck a little bit of struggle in order to keep his title.
I mean, Rosenstruck is very much a...
He's just very big.
Yeah, Rosenstruck is a large fight. We had the privilege of watching him ringside, actually, the last time.
Yeah.
And Rosenstruck is a big heavyweight. He's a heavyweight who seems to glide on the canvas, too. He's very big, but very fluid on his movement.
He's very big. He knows what he's doing. He gets in and gets out.
Yeah, he's a counter striker.
Gable is also much younger.
Yeah.
And has a lot more energy and stamina.
Yeah. I think where I want to see Gable next is how is Gable going to react when the pressure is coming, right? I think a lot of times we see a lot of people, wilt under that. I mean, Gable has seen pressure at the Olympic level. I don't see Gable wilting under pressure, but I want to see how he reacts, especially as someone who is kind of getting his foray into mixed martial arts. So, yeah, I'm very, very excited to see where Gable kind of goes from here, because I think he's a star in the making. I think he's got all the things kind of going in his favor.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So before we wrap things up, obviously, we wanted to talk a little bit about some funny experiences we've had after fights. So go ahead and walk us through some funny experiences we've had, and you know the exact thing I'm talking about. It was the craziest experience.
Well, so this was a few years ago when I first started getting into combat sports photography. This was kind of like a little test run, other than our rooftop spars that I've photographed. There was a local promotion. We went, saw one of our friends fight, and
we got invited to it by another one of the guys I train with, and we kind of was our first before anything. It was before all of our.
This was like at the beginning of Shots by Tiff.
Yeah.
So we get invited, and of course, I'm in the audience, but because it's local, it's not as like, strict. I'm able to do photography from the audience. So I'm taking photos. We met a couple of the fighters, kind of hung with them, rooted for one of them, and he won, which is awesome. So after I take photos of these events, I usually will contact either the promotion or the fighters or both. And I contacted the promotion, didn't get back to me. I contacted each fighters. And I sent them their individual photos because I was like, hey, great fight. Here are some photos that you can use. Well, one of them decided to try to keep the conversation going. And he ended up being like, oh, great photos, but you look even better behind the camera. Like, what's up? And I was like,
yeah, it was kind of awkward.
My boyfriend has literally posted on the page. Granted, it's Shots by Tiff. I'm keeping it as professional as possible because I want to make this my living. So I don't want to be like, he's my boyfriend, I love him so much. Even though I do, but it's more of a professional page. Yeah. So I was like, he's on there, but he looks like just another fighter.
Right. Yeah, so. I thought... I was like, brother, we have a house together. We got 5 animals. I mean, it's going to take a whole lot more than one compliment. ChatGPT compliment.
Yeah, and I definitely didn't want to get like barred from going into the local promotions. Yeah. So I kind of just ignored the comment. I was like, whatever.
We didn't go back to shoot them though. No, but yeah, that was that. And then my weird experience was getting sized up by a fighter after the fight ended. I was like, dude, what? So we were out. I'm not going to name drop or anything. We were out celebrating a big win, and we're out there having a good time. Get on your feet. And we're leaving, and they turn on the lights, and it's time to go. If they turn on the lights anywhere, if you guys are of age, at a bar or at a club, when the lights are on, everyone should go home.
Yeah, everybody's running out the door because no one wants to see anything
you can see
going
how
on.
Sticky the floors are. The glasses have fog on them. You're like, this is crazy.
Yeah,
people's lipstick are smudged.
You
people
can see every single person who has had way too much to drink or other substances
hobbling out. So obviously, I have my homie in one, and then I have you in the other. And I'm leaving, and someone says, "Hey, that's so and so who just fought." And I was like, And I look, and so is like 5 feet away from me, just like staring me up and down. And I was like, brother, first of all, I'm a photographer guy, a media guy who has painted fingernails, and I'm a 125er. You're a professional fighter. I would literally die if we fought. Yeah. So, I was just, he stared me up and down. So I was nervous. So I just waved, and then he was drunk. So he waved back and then just kept staring at me. Like as we just both walked away, we were just like, yeah, but he kind of committed. He overcommitted to that stare. He committed for.
We were like down the street.
He was still looking. No, he was seriously still looking.
Do you think it was like I know you people and you're hanging around with my op?
I think it was. I'm gonna like look you up and down. Like you're my. Like are you like what do you want to do? And I was like nothing.
I think he wanted to win that night.
Yeah, right. He would have whooped me. I tell you that from my girl. I don't care, bro. We're media people. I train. I don't fight professionally, right? I think fundamentally I'm okay with staying in my lane, right? We live in Miami where so many people want to put this, bro. No, I would die.
Yeah.
I would die.
And we're like from the suburbs of Miami.
I grew up with both my parents. Like, this guy would like crush me. Yeah, it was crazy. But, I was like, don't make me call my boy. But we can keep that. But yeah, it was crazy. It was an interesting experience for sure. But Dirty Boxing 5 should be happening in the next few months. We'll be there again. Hopefully, I'm in the booth. Hopefully, you're back in the ringside. And hopefully, we got some more exciting announcements because next week we might get the chance to maybe work with another promotion. See some knuckles that are bare, if y'all catch my drift. So we'll see what happens. But guys, I hope you like this content. If you do, go ahead and follow Cageside Media on Instagram. Go ahead and follow us everywhere that you can think of. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell Bryan, tell everybody. But guys, that's it for me. My name is Jonan Morales.
I'm Tiffany Leys.
And guys, as always, stay safe. Have a blessed one. Drink water.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.